Hey everyone, this is Jane with Barlow Herbal, and happy Sunday, April 12th of 2026. Now, I have a funny topic to talk about today, and that is aging. And I say it's funny because as I get older and I find myself being so uninterested in doing things to make myself look younger, as far as Botox and face stuff. And I've just recently started doing facials, which it has always just felt like a luxury to me or unnecessary. But I kind of started realizing, oh, it would not only feel so lovely to have someone cleaning my skin, moisturizing my skin, toning my skin. That would be so lovely and pampering. But I've just never been this person who's like, well, I'm going to do Botox, I'm going to do a lift, I'm going to, you know, I I've had my share of struggles as far as looking at myself in the mirror and going, oh my gosh. And I keep having these realizations that we're supposed to get older and look older. It's part of the deal. So what happened that really kind of dropped this thing. So I thought it'd be fun to talk about because no one likes to talk about the aging process as far as looking older. It's such a weird modern society that we think we have to look 40 when we're 60, or we think we have to look 30 when we're 40. What a weird thing if you really, really think about it. Okay. So what sparked this? And at the very beginning of the week, I wrote tea with a friend. Okay. I've been seeing this friend I hadn't seen for a while. We've now connected 3 times in the last 3 weeks. And we were talking again, and we were talking about fitness and our age. So she's almost 60 and I'm almost 65. So next month in May, she turns 60 and I turn 65. So we started having this conversation about how wonderful it is to be this age and to be healthy. Like that has been, I think that's most people's goal. We want, aging is inevitable. It's the way, it's finite. We're here to experience and love and learn and all the things. And this body, it ages and then it eventually dies. It's the way it is. But what I think most of us are really after is the vibrancy. So here's what I wrote after that. I've realized something profound. My goal isn't to look younger than my age. Okay, and that's why I have no problem talking about it. I've been talking about it the whole time I've had a YouTube channel. I always talk about my age. When people ask me, which most people don't, they think women are triggered by the question, "How old are you?" And I've had other people I've talked to that I'm curious, like, "Well, how old are you?" And then it's like, "Oh, why are you asking me that?" That's not polite conversation. I'm like, oh, okay. So I've never had a problem with it, but I I want to feel good, and sure, I want to look good. I want to look groomed. I want to look healthy, but my hands give me away. My neck sometimes gives me away. The sides of my mouth are kind of drooping. Would I wish that didn't happen? Well, sure. Okay, sure. And I know this might be a really weird topic, but bear with me on this, okay? So I've realized something profound. My goal isn't to look younger than my age. I'm proud of that. The goal is to be healthy, strong, and fully alive at this age and this stage of my life. And then here's what I wrote. My goal is not to look younger. It is to age powerfully. So then I kind of went off on a weird little journaling thing. It kind of got mismatched, but so let me kind of see if I can piece it together. I realized it's gaining wisdom, building a life and a body that still feels healthy and vibrant. That's really what I've always done. And some of it I've just done because of the joy of it. I was a fitness instructor for 40 years. I did personal training. I used to own my own gym. I grew up with a dad who did natural healing, and I've always loved alternative medicine, and this has just been part of my life and part of my psyche and my mindset. And you realize that the habits you build while you're younger, not everybody realizes this. We might know it, but to realize it to the extent of putting it into practice is a whole nother thing, right? So gaining wisdom, building a life and a body that still feels healthy, vibrant, and alive. throughout all the decades. And I believe it's possible. Okay, so then what I wrote, I'm proud of all the things I've done. And I'm grateful. And I'm grateful. Who cares if my hands show my age or my neck, whatever. If someone else cares, that's on them. If I'm the one who should care or not care, right? I truly don't want to look 30, 40, or even 50. I'm almost 65. I don't want to look those ages at this age. My sons are in their mid 40s. I have 2 grandchildren who are, my youngest grandchild will be 13 in a couple months. So I have 2 teenage grandchildren. Like, that's amazing. I love all these things. I don't want to look 30, and that's just me. If there are other people on this, there are many other people who really want to look younger, and that's fine. I've done and been through a lot of shit, is what I wrote. I've done a lot of stuff, and I've been through a lot of stuff, hard stuff. So then I wrote this on the next page. New supplement routine video. It's dropping in a couple weeks. So what I did, I think I was 55 when I did the first one. Maybe I was a little bit younger than that. Maybe I was between 50 and 55. But over the years, and especially as I've put out a lot of content, I do a lot of videos, I've done a lot of podcasts, and people always ask me what my supplement routine is. So more than 10 years ago, I put up the first video on my supplement routine. And then when I turned 60, 5 years ago, I updated it. I thought, you know what, it's changed as I've gotten older, and the things that I add in or the things I take out or I don't do anymore, or I've changed the routine up a little bit. So I updated it when I was 60. And I went back and looked at it, and it's like, my first thought was honestly this: wow, I look so much younger, which, of course, I was 5 years younger. But then I thought, it's time for me to upgrade and update my supplement routine on a video. So I wrote that down. New supplement routine videos dropping in a couple of weeks. So I have a couple of thoughts I want to share with you, and I'm asking for some engagement on this, okay? So I've had this suggestion from a few people, and over the months, the last couple weeks in particular, why don't you start doing YouTube lives? So why don't you get on and do a live once a week where you can record it as a weekly message, but you can interact with people as they tap in. I'm sure all of you are familiar with what a YouTube live is. I tell you when I'm going to go live. You log in and you can interact with me in the chat, and I can interact with you and answer questions. And then it can be recorded and put on the YouTube channel. So I would love to know if that would be something that would interest you. Okay, first of all. And then, so in the comments, give me your thoughts on that. And I am going to be dropping a new video in a couple of weeks. I might wait. It's a month until I turn 65, so I might wait and do that in a month. But that is coming because I think it's really important. So maybe if you're not only commenting on this particular video, but the email that accompanies it, which every single Sunday I drop not just a video on YouTube. And most of you who are watching this know that because there's a link in the email. But I write out an email based on the thoughts. It's a little more structured, and a little bit, a lot of thought goes into it. I spend a lot of time composing something that will inspire you as I've gone on my own personal growth journey. So let me know what you think about not just doing a live, but do you have any specific questions about my supplement routine, my diet, my fitness? This is something that I think is such a unique thing, that at this age, what I bring to the table as far as my extensive experience with fitness, the fitness industry, the human body on a fitness level, and then all of the natural healing and herbal wisdom. Like, I wouldn't want to give any of that up for anything. I wouldn't want to go back and be 30 and have, look, of course, like I was very, very fit when I was 30. In fact, I feel like I'm very, very fit right now. One of my favorite things right now that I started doing probably about a month ago was doing wall handstands. I took it out of my routine about 3.5 years ago when I got a knee surgery. I just stopped doing it while I was rehabbing, and I never put it back into my strength routine. But that is such an empowering move. Don't just do it. There's a way to work up to it and practice it and slowly climb your feet up the wall. For me, the wall is in front of me and I go up into a handstand and I let my feet kick onto the wall and I just I'm in a handstand with my feet being balanced on the wall. And that makes me feel strong. It makes me feel fit. It works my core, my shoulders, bone density, everything. So if there are any questions that you want to ask me, put them in the comments or respond to the email that accompanies this video. Now, if you're not subscribed to our emails, go to our website, which is just barlowherbal.com. There's a little pop-up in the right-hand corner that says subscribe to our newsletter. And I drop an email every Thursday, which is herbal wisdom. I'm now calling it generational herbalism. And every Thursday I spotlight an herb and I teach about it. I write about it. And I always learn something new while I'm researching. So it's really cool. And then on Sunday, I drop my Sunday message of love. So the last few weeks, and actually the last few years, I've been on a massive, massive personal growth journey. And many of you have come along with me. Many of you have been with me week after week since I started doing this. And first of all, I thank you for that. And it's been a really interesting journey because while I've gone through a lot of things, as all of us have, my journey is not unique. The things that I share sometimes trigger people. And it's really fascinating to me because judging other people's journeys, because it's different than the one they're on, has become a fascinating thing for me. And the last couple of weeks have of my messages, mostly my emails that accompany the video, have really triggered some people in a really harsh way where a lot of judgment got thrown my way. And so I've had some really deep thoughts about that. I don't want to blow up my platform or, but I don't want to be untrue to myself and my own journey. So I wrote this. One of the healthiest habits I've learned over the years is to not take anything personally. My message has always been one, not just along the way of all of these growth things I'm learning, but it's always been one of love and higher consciousness. Even as I've gone through hard times, I've never come on here and screamed at political things or been angry about stuff. That's never been something I've done. It's just not who I am. Even before I've been on this really serious growth path, right? So I had a big epiphany this week. This is what I wrote. A big epiphany this week. Most people are at war with themselves. So I realized the people that come at me because they don't like what I say on my personal growth path, instead of just maybe disengaging, maybe unsubscribing, don't tune into my messages anymore, whatever, it's not. And I do believe there are some people who do that, which is also fine, because there's people who I have done that with because what they're sharing doesn't resonate with me anymore. And it's not something personal on them because my path is different. So most people are at war with themselves and not me. That's what I realized. And I realized when I really embody that idea, this is when the doorway to freedom opens. Because I found myself the first couple of days of this week really feeling kind of at a loss on how do I continue to share my personal growth journey with the people who appreciate it, and stay true to myself. Anyway, it's just been very interesting, right? And then I wrote this: the things people say and the things people do are a reflection of themselves, not me. if I've disengaged from somebody that no longer resonates with me, I will never, ever shoot them an angry email. And I think that most people don't do that. And I think that when that happens and you feel, there are people who really feel pulled to do that, there is something inside themselves. That is my belief. Okay. And then I kind of put a line at the bottom like, okay, so that is a wonderful epiphany and a beautiful place to land, because I don't want to stop sharing my personal journey. I am going to guide it. I'm going to guide it moving forward from right now throughout as I go turn this big number next month. I really want to pull in my decades of experience with fitness. Like, this is still a huge passion with me. I love feeling so strong and so fit at 65. Like, I love it. And I want everyone to experience it. I want everyone to dial in a perfect supplement routine for them. And everyone can be different. There are things we all need, but there are things that make us all uniquely different. We might have had some health issue or health challenge. Maybe someone went through cancer. Now they're on prevention differently than I might be on a cancer prevention for someone who's never had that. So it's a really beautiful path for me to kind of go, okay, let's do that. Now, here is how I'm going to end this, because then I realized it's so crazy to me how every single thing we do has to have purpose. Okay, now I'm not saying having purpose is a bad thing, but it's like we don't even go out for a walk just to enjoy a walk. We go out to get our 10,000 steps. Okay, now I don't count steps, and I'm not saying I'm better than people who do. I'm just saying that I've never counted steps. I have a walk I do. I try to do it every day. It's a 5-mile loop from my house down through the neighborhood, down a river, and back to my house. And every once in a while, I'll sit there's a park bench. Sometimes I'll actually spread eagle out on the grass, and I'll lay there for 10 minutes before I jump up and finish my walk. So I do believe that there has to be purpose, but, here's what I wrote. Just being. Just be, not for purpose. Live life a little more lightly. Like, it's like trying to think we control a river just because we can scoop up a handful of water in our hands and hold that piece of the river in our hands. It does not mean we're controlling the river. We need to lighten it up a little, okay? Sometimes I realize that I've been addicted to growth, okay? I think many of us have. We want to grow. We want to do better. We want to always be better. And I'm not saying we shouldn't try to be better, okay? So then I wrote this. I don't want to resist the flow, and I don't want to leave the magic on the table. I don't want to leave the magic that is just being. Now that spring is here, this is something I've been doing for a long time. And if you have a yard with trees in it, I would suggest that you make yourself feel foolish if it makes you foolish, and do this. Go around and talk to your trees, talk to your plants. I will tell you, I have this beautiful, beautiful Japanese maple that lives outside of the sliding glass door at my house. And it's kind of struggled over the years, as trees do. And the Japanese maple can be a little picky, sometimes a little fragile depending on the weather. And, I'm in Utah, so sometimes we have harsh winters. So the spring, which we're in the middle of right now, but about a month ago, I went out and I talked to all of my trees. And I stood in front of this Japanese maple. I put my hands around its trunk, and I'm the one who prunes it and trims it. It's been in my yard for about 14 years, and it's beautiful. And I actually said, hey, you are my favorite tree in this yard. And how are you doing this year? Like, I love that you put this out. It goes partially over this outdoor table that we sit and eat dinner at sometimes. And it's just the most beautiful tree. And I just had the best conversation and flowed love onto this tree. And when you hold on to the trunk of a tree, you're actually grounding. I don't know if you knew that. You are connecting to the ions that the tree is grounding. You are grounding when you hug a tree or touch a tree. So it's been about a month since I actually did that. And it wasn't the only tree that I gave attention to, but I gave extra special attention to this Japanese maple. And you should see the way it looks today. It's been a month. The leaves are almost all the way fully out, and it is more gorgeous than it has been in probably the last 3 or 4 years. And I'm just like, wow. And that is the magic of enjoying this life. I mean, that to me is it. This is what helps life flow. So then I wrote this: life is far too important to take it so seriously. It seems foolish at this point to take it so seriously, okay? To think I can control everything. I can't. I don't want to. And then I wrote, be a tree and be a river. And then I ended it with saying, yeah, okay? And that is the last thing I wrote in my journal this week. So a little bit of a random idea of thoughts in this week's video, but I would love to know what you think. Give me some comments about what you would like to see. If there are any nuances besides my supplement routine, is there anything in particular you would like to see? And then what are your thoughts on me doing maybe every other week, schedule a YouTube live and maybe kind of have a little bit of a structure to it so that people can pop in, ask me questions. But let me know what you think about that. So Sunday, April 12th, I hope you have an absolute beautiful third week in April. It's a great day to be alive. So many beautiful things are happening. Amidst the chaos that we all see, there are beautiful things being built, communities, families, people that are realizing the beautiful thing it is to be alive and be a human during these times. So I hope you have an amazing Sunday, an amazing week ahead, and we will see you in the next one.